how am I going to go from this to this? You're asking, how will I transition from military life to civilian life? From boots to books. How the heck do I do this? And now here's where Peter and Paul might be mad at me, and maybe you're going to be a little bit mad at me too, and please don't be mad, please. I actually don't know how you're going to transition. I literally have no idea, because I was never former military, although I did work for the United States Army at Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, shout out, for 2 years as a civilian. My father also worked for the DoD and the US Army for over 25 years. So, but I've never had the honor and privilege to serve my country in uniform. So I don't know how to transition from military to civilian life. I only know civilian life, and I've only ever known civilian life. I don't know how to transition from military life to civilian life because I never got the chance to do it. But do you know what I do know? I definitely know uncertainty. I know doubt. I know fear of the unknown and fear for my future. And how do I know all these things? Because I've been fired. I got fired on September 12th, 2018, almost 3 years ago to this day. It was a Wednesday afternoon, 2 p.m. And I remember it as if it were yesterday. "We're going to let you go," said my boss. And honestly, I wasn't surprised at all. I was having a tough time in my role as a cybersecurity leader for over 1.5 years. I was trying my hardest and it wasn't working out. I just wasn't effective in my role. I was unable to influence and persuade. I was unable to inspire confidence, win hearts and minds for security. And just like that, I was let go into a world of the unknown, into uncertainty, doubt, and fear. I was jobless for the first time in my entire life. Well, my adult life. All that careful planning, career building, ladder climbing, gone in an instant. And I was absolutely terrified. The next few days were a bit of a whirlwind, I would say. I was an emotional wreck. I cried. I yelled at my kids. I yelled at my husband. I was angry and hurt. And I felt very much alone. I felt so sorry for myself. I also ate a lot of ice cream. But then Monday came and everything changed for me. I woke up that Monday morning with a resolve in my heart that could not be shaken. It was a drive in me that said, I'm not taking this lying down. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to fight for myself. I'm going to fight for my family. I had a complete mindset shift, a complete 180. There I was, wallowing in self-pity when I realized something. Getting fired was a gift. It was an opportunity for me to grow from the pain, to get better. Getting fired wasn't something that happened to me. I got the privilege of getting fired. My worldview completely changed in an instant. That Monday, I marched down to the bookstore, bought a stack of books on cybersecurity, on leadership, on building soft skills. I registered for the CISM exam, studied my butt off for weeks and months. I interviewed, got a job, and worked my butt off to prove to myself that getting fired was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, not the worst. And you know what? I absolutely rocked that job. I was promoted to director after a year. And on my last day, my CEO said to me, "You did really well here. We're going to miss you." I did it. I overcame the doubt and fear and uncertainty from getting fired. And you can too. Transitioning isn't something that's happening to you. Transitioning is something that you get to do. You have a mindset shift. You get a chance at doing something new. You get a chance at building a second part of your life, a chance that is at the same time scary, full of uncertainty, but wonderful and exciting as well. Transitioning from military life to civilian life isn't something that you have to do, but rather something that you get to do. And so we get to the next part of my talk here, the blue slides. This is where I ask for your help. As a person currently working in cybersecurity, I am now asking for your help. This is where I'm going to ask you to step up again. You served our country once. I'm asking you to serve your country again. This time as a civilian in the world of cybersecurity, fighting against cybercrime. The fact is, we're losing the war on cybercrime. By any objective measure, we are losing the war on cybercrime. The numbers and the headlines do not lie. No one is gaslighting us. What you see in the news, in the headlines, it's all true. We're losing the war on cybercrime, objectively. We've all seen the headlines. More headlines. Breaches, more breaches. We see things like this. These kinds of breaches with hospitals, T-Mobile, our governments, farms. And we even see things like statistics. What kind of cybercrime will we see in the future? 40% of businesses feel threatened by cyber incidents in 2021. Alarming cybersecurity stats, what you need to know for 2021. It just gets worse. Cybercrime expected to rise at an unprecedented rate in 2021. These are all headlines that I just took last night. Cybercrime to cost the world $10.5 trillion annually by 2025, according to Cybercrime Ventures, which estimates $10.5 trillion will be spent by companies, governments, individuals on cyber security, fighting against cybercrime. The truth is, we need more defenders. We need more troops in the ranks. Cybercrime is asymmetric, in which one bad actor or one group of bad actors can take down hospitals, schools, grocery stores, manufacturing plants. They can take down governments and infiltrate our communities, our families, our friends. The demand for information security analysts, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, is projected to increase 33% between 2020 and 2030. That's 25% more on average than all of the other occupations in the United States. All the other occupations only increased about 8% over the same projected time period. It's a 33% increase. That's an additional 47,100 jobs, and that's just for information security analysts. That doesn't include other types of information security jobs, like governance jobs or security leadership jobs. Other estimates are even more dire. Back in, hold please, can you still see? Give me 1 second. I accidentally knocked my cable out, but you know what? Uncertainty and doubt, that's okay. You let it happen to you, but you're gonna go around it. It's all good. Give me another thumbs up if you can see my screen. You should see the words 314,000 there, okay? So now I need my notes. All right, again, a thumbs up, please, from anybody in the audience. Can you see my screen, the blue screen? All right. So thank you. Other estimates are even more dire. Back in 2020, CyberSeek projected that there are 314,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs in the US for 2021, and a total of 3.5 million around the world. Now, these numbers may or may not be accurate, but even if these numbers were just 10% correct, we are still looking at over 30,000 unfilled cybersecurity jobs in the United States alone. So we need more defenders, hands down. We need people that have an amazing ability to learn, people who have amazing critical thinking skills, empathy, emotional intelligence, the potential to be amazing cybersecurity professionals and teammates. We need you. In short, we need you. We need more people like you. It doesn't matter what you did in the military, what branch you served for, served in. There's so many opportunities that we need that we have here that you'd be perfect for. I'm talking directly to you. Transitioning service members, we need you. We just need more people. We need good people. So apply, network, build home labs, go to career fairs like this one, attend webinars, don't give up hope. We need you now more than ever. We need you, we need you, we need you. And yes, there's some uncertainty during the transition phase, but with uncertainty comes a chance to be brave, right? Because the only time you get to be brave is in the face of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Uncertainty brings courage. So be brave. You can do this. Remember, we're here waiting for you. Help us create a world in which is free from cybercrime. Help us win this war. I don't want to live in the future where I can't trust my water, or my gas isn't ready for me, or my hospitals aren't able to help me, right? Like, I don't want to live in a world like that. And I don't think you do either. I don't think you want your kids to grow up in a world like that. And it's just getting worse. So we need more people in cybersecurity, and we need you today. So be brave. You can do this. We're waiting for you. Help us because we need you. So what I can do now is take questions, because I wanted to leave some time for questions and to talk about what kind of transitioning questions you might have. Again, I'm not former military, so I won't be able to talk specifically to transitioning from the military, but I can certainly talk to you from a perspective of a cybersecurity professional. And I know there's several others out there too, like Chris Foulon and Renee Small, they're out there, Paul Cummings. So please put your questions in the chat. Feel free to ask them directly here. You can take yourself off mute, I believe. You know, it was a little short. Yeah. Okay, so we have the questions. Thank you, thank you. Some comments. Paul Cummings says 38% of the roles in dire need are mid-senior to senior roles where you do not need to be 100% technical. I would like to make a comment here. So the thing is, we need people to be really good cybersecurity professionals. Now, we need people with experience also. So if you can bring all the skills that you have learned from the military, you have the training, the amazing training, using SkillBridge if you have it, so you have internships and jobs, that's really good. We need more of that. So take what you currently have and try to build upon it. You know, build a home lab, write blogs, read books, attend webinars, continue doing these things more and more, and network, build out a network of people that you can mentor with and really understand what it means and takes to be a good cybersecurity professional, because we need more people at the mid-senior and senior levels. But they won't ever get there unless they start at the entry level. So keep trying to break in, right? We need more and more people in the mid-senior and senior levels, but they'll never get there without being given a chance at the entry level. All right, Nick Hamula says, I can't actually hear what's going on because I'm listening to work, but how would we be able to leverage ourselves in a mid-senior position without specific experience? I answered this question just before. Yes, we do need mid-senior people. Someone has to give you a chance. So here's what you got to do. You really have to find a person that will give you that chance. It's usually somebody in a hiring manager position, and maybe a mentor. They will help recommend you for jobs that you'd be qualified for at the entry level, again, with no experience, and you're transitioning military member. Those are the people that are trying to help people break in. There are a lot of us out there. Some of us are more vocal than others. You want to try to find those people on social media. There's some out on Twitter. There's a lot of us on LinkedIn. Connect with myself, Renee Small, Chris Foulon, Paul Cummings. There's going to be people that we can introduce you to help you get that ball rolling. So you want to start networking. That's a huge part of this. To get a job in cybersecurity is networking and getting people to go to bat for you and build up that core group of people who will like help you get jobs. Brandon Knight, how would you recommend people to find direction in such a diverse field? Great question, Brandon. Wanting to answer quite frequently. The NIST NICE career website is what I recommend. Go ahead and search for NIST NICE, NICE. There are career paths there, including 52 specialties, 33 subspecialties in cybersecurity. And it also gives you a choice of a drop down where you can choose and select the things that you're good at. And it maps it back to the roles that you might actually be really, really good at. So like, for example, you might be good at data analysis, right? And so if you select the skill, I'm good at data analysis, that actually maps it back to a role like in a SOC where you can do log analysis now, right? So since you're good at data analysis, you should be good in a SOC role or security operations center role as an analyst to analyze logs and to correlate different types of events and to see if there's suspicious and malicious activity happening within any kind of system or network. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to do, is start using the resources that the government has given us out there. There's plenty of nonprofits also that provide resources and training. I know Josh Mason has a really good one, Cyber Supply Drop. He's really good there. Thank you, Chris. Amazing talk. Gordon, is there work for non-cleared veterans? Yeah, I mean, there's just non-clearance jobs out there. So I don't think that there's a difference really. We take veterans, whether they're cleared or not. It just really depends on the job and what they're looking for. There's specific jobs in the industry that only hire veterans, and there's certain industries that do that. I'm not connected very well with them, but there are definitely people who are. I would suggest reaching out. There's a and help me out there, Chris, if you know this one, or James, if you're listening, but there's LinkedIn groups that are specifically for veterans. And so they can hook you up with the different types of jobs for that. And Logan's also asking about remote non-cleared. Okay, so same kind of thing. They're going to be either remote or in-person jobs, cleared or not cleared. I do not have a clearance. When I was in the DoD, I actually had just a secret clearance. So there wasn't anything special. Ewa says, I'm looking for roles in the EU as I am planning to return there. What is some advice on gaining employment there? That one I can't really help you with. I'm not familiar with the EU hiring practices. I know it's just going to be a lot more difficult in the EU in terms of contracts and things, but certainly reach out, try to build a network of people who have that experience and have that network. And that's what I'm really trying to hone in here, guys, like really build out a network of people who can help you, because you do not want to do this alone, right? Wasn't it a while ago where the Army of One was kind of a motto for the US Army, right? It's like, we are all together, we're all in this, we're an army of one. It's the same idea for the cybersecurity community. We are a community of one, like we are trying to help each other here. So there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help, really willing to spend time with you and get you into cybersecurity. You just have to keep looking and asking for those people and for their help. Owen asked, does your company offer SkillBridge? Mine does not currently. There are several in my industry that does. So I'm in the insurance industry. There are plenty who do. Can keep looking, keep asking, keep building that network to try to find out what those companies are. Who do I know of who did this recently? Yeah, my friends, John Dela Cruz, he actually is in the SkillBridge program. He works for Lowe's, like the Home Depot Lowe's, kind of like Lowe's department. And so he's doing security now because he got the job through SkillBridge. Gary says it's important to understand that cybersecurity can be broken down into buckets. Here, I'll share this here. I'm just reading from the chat. Technical, administrative. Yeah, very true, Gary. So you're right. Cybersecurity can be broken down into different types of buckets. You don't have to be fully technical to get into cybersecurity. There's going to be more technical roles, but eventually, if you want to be successful in cybersecurity, you're going to need the technical and the administrative balance. But certainly, you can have a full career in an administrative role like risk management and compliance. You're absolutely right, Gary. But to be mostly effective, I found that you want to be able to speak to all different types of audiences, whether it's going to be your executive team, your business folks, right, the more administrative side, and then also the engineers and the technical people, because you want to be able to be that liaison and the advisor for all types of people. They're looking to you for advice and guidance on how to do cybersecurity well. And so if you can speak to multiple types of audiences, that just makes you a better professional. And Jay Rossman says, I have the background to start at the beginning. I'm willing to be there. That's exactly what we're looking for, Jay, because it's literally people who are willing to put their kind of risk who they are. Like, you've had a 20-year career in the military, and that's amazing. Then how are you supposed to take all that you've learned and then transition that into the corporate life? There are ways of doing that. And you want to find a path for yourself, or a person that was willing to help you out there, and really figure out what you're good at. And if you really know yourself, and you can really put pen to paper and just say, here are the 10 things that I'm really, really good at. And you have evidence of this. People tell you this all the time. You're given special projects to work on, right? Like, this is where you excel. And then you want to take that information that you've written about yourself, all the great things that you have, that you know about yourself, since you know yourself so well, and you use that to find a job that fits those skills, and really focus on your strengths. A lot of people try to work on their weaknesses, but really find a way to focus on the strengths, because that makes you a wonderful contributor, right? Of course, work on soft skills, emotional intelligence, empathy, that's always going to be important. But the technical skills that you have from the military, write that down. Top 10 things that you're really, really good at, and see how that might translate into a career in cybersecurity. Again, using the NIST framework, there are plenty of things and ways for you to map that. And thank you, Paul, for putting that link in there. CISO is really good too. So Brandon asks, what are companies looking for in being able to demonstrate skills? LinkedIn assessments, GitHub, Hack the Box. This one's going to be kind of all over the place. There's no one real standard, unfortunately, but they use security certifications as a proxy for what you know. So most people are going to ask for certifications in security. There's going to be your basic ones like your GSEC, Security Plus. Some of your more IT focused ones are A+, Network Plus. Those are the ones from CompTIA. Those are the ones that I recommend. They're very standard. You're going to be at a disadvantage if you don't have a certification, because a lot of people trying to break into cybersecurity today are doing those certifications. So that's something that you do want to focus on. Try to get 1 or 2 under your belt. And then at the same time, building out your network, building out home labs, and really trying to showcase your strengths. Other ways of demonstrating skills, using historical data. So if you can actually show in your past that you've learned new things, especially in the military, if you've got an MOS that was really difficult to learn, but you still learned it because you got proper training and guidance, and you were given any space to learn, right? And now you can operate multi-billion-dollar systems. Like, you should be able to show that and share that on your resume and say, I learned this in 2 years. I went to school for this. And then you say, I walked out of there and now I'm an expert in this system. Right? Like, that's the kind of things that employers love to see. Put that on your resume. Say that I might not be in cybersecurity now, but I have the ability to learn. Here's the proof of that. Here's the historical data that shows that I can do this stuff. I know multiple languages. Maybe you're a linguist, and say, I can learn multiple languages. Cybersecurity is just like another language. So give me a chance, right? And so you want to start writing this down. You don't want to just list out your skills, but show the proof that you have and how you were able to get those skills. And that's how we evaluate resumes, because honestly, as a hiring manager, I only spend about 30, 60 seconds reviewing a resume before I make a decision whether I want to pass you on or not to the next phase. So right now I have a couple of openings. Please check out our careers page, beam.dental. We have a careers page. We have entry-level help desk positions for IT. We are looking for Columbus, Ohio candidates right now, but relocation is absolutely possible. We also have full-time remote employee positions open for cloud security engineer. And I don't ask for years of experience. I only ask that you know how to do something. And that's the general industry is trying to get there, but we're trying to see where we don't need years of experience of certain things, but just the ability and knowledge of certain things, and the potential to get there too, and the potential to learn. That's what we're looking for. I'm looking for high potential candidates, people like you. Giovanni, has someone who does not come from a tech background, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? Oh, okay. Well, I feel like an imposter right now. I'm speaking to a bunch of military service members, right? But I accept that. I accept the fact that I don't know anything about military and your military life. And yeah, I do have friends who are currently transitioning, but I don't know anything about what they're going through. It must be hard. It must be so scary, right? But the fact that I've accepted the fact that I don't know anything opens me up to learning more and being empathetic for the people who are currently doing that. So I don't come in thinking that I know everything. I don't come in saying, I know everything that you're going through, military members. I know exactly what you're doing. Like, I didn't come in that way. I just said, I know nothing. And I accept that. So if you come in, Giovanni, and say, I really don't know anything, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to understand, to help. right? And that's really what a lot of people in the industry are trying to get at. We want to get the people who are willing to put themselves on the line and just be like, I'm okay with not knowing anything right now. I'm okay with that. Because we were all there in the beginning. A lot of, I don't know how many of us were born with a CISSP, but I certainly wasn't, right? So it took me years to learn. It took a lot of steps back, a lot of trips with my ego, getting crushed and everything else. But I grew from that. And when I got fired, I grew from that. I used it as an opportunity. And I used it as like an experience almost, where I'm like, I get to be fired. Like, it was just so interesting. Instead of like, oh, I got fired. Oh, poor me. Right. No, I turned that around and I said, wow, I got fired. Like, I got to be fired. How many people get to be fired every day? Not a lot. Hopefully not a lot. Right. It's the same thing with anything else. Somebody cuts you off on the highway. Oh, someone cut me off on the highway. I'm going to have a miserable day now. Instead, just think, wow, I got cut off. That is not something that happens to me every day. How am I going to make sure that doesn't happen to me again? I get to practice patience and empathy today. Wow. It's a complete mindset shift. And if you start thinking about the way you do this with your transition, right? Again, I know nothing about transitioning, but if you consider it this way, something that you get to do instead of something that you have to do, you get automatic gratitude. You get automatic happiness in your life. And it's so much easier to be grateful for what you have. And for sure, if you've traveled to different countries and if you've been stationed abroad, you should see this. You should see people living in poorer countries, but they're absolutely happy because they understand that life can be way worse, right? So if you understand that your life could be way worse, you're going to be grateful for what you have. It's like automatic happiness. It's a secret. Alex, I have 6 years military communications and IT experience in emergency management communications, over 20 years management and supervision experience, a number of entry to mid-level certifications, and a bachelor's in networking and cybersecurity. Awesome, Alex. I know where I fit in the military world, but I am struggling to figure out where I fit in the civilian world. Where do I start? Well, the good news, Alex, is you have all the right things. You've got not only experience in IT, you have management experience and supervision experience. Awesome. You have entry and mid-level certifications, and you have a bachelor's degree. You already check off a lot of boxes, trust me. So if you're currently struggling to find out where you fit in the civilian world, I suggest you either looking at the NIST website, talking to many other people, talking to people, someone who has a job that you might be interested in. So the more people you talk to, right? If you want to be a penetration tester, talk to penetration testers. If you want to be GRC, talk to GRC people. If you want to be a security leader, talk to security leaders. And you start empathizing with what they have in their experience and what their day-to-day looks like. And then you start figuring out if that's what you want to do. Because the more information and input that you have, the better you can make that decision. And the best way of figuring out what you want to do is to really know yourself and to think like, oh, I can do that. I can see myself doing that thing, or I can see myself not doing that thing. And therefore you're not going to do that. So the more you figure out what you want to do by talking to other people, that's what you want to do, Alex. Great question. Mario says, what if you don't have any training in it? I wonder if you mean by it being anything specific in the cybersecurity domain. And that's really where you want to also bring in your ability to learn and do your own learning, right? Do your own certifications. There's plenty of free courses out there, pay what you can courses. I suggest Black Hills Information Security. They have courses that you just pay whatever you can. It's amazing. Created by John Strand, who is a former SANS instructor, actually a faculty member or a fellow. He's amazing, but he has several courses that are just pay what you can. And there's several cheaper options out there like that, Udemy, of course, that are very affordable. And, you can get sponsors from different government programs and things like that too. So it's not that you don't have any training in it, you just don't have any training in it yet. That's kind of like the secret word that I like to put. Like, even if you don't know something, just put the word yet at the end of it. And then now you know, oh, I can do this. I can learn this. I don't know this yet. And that it changes your mindset. It's all about changing your mindset. Chris put down the Discord server for, I'm guessing this thing here that we have today with Boots to Books. Run by Paul. Oh, more groups from Paul. Thank you. You're welcome, Iwa. Brian says, check out the 2 Vets to Industry groups. Yep. All right, great. So if you guys can put all these resources in the Discord and everyone go on the Discord, that way because when we close out the Zoom, the chat is actually going to disappear. So put all the resources, please, in the Discord if you could. That way it stays a little longer. JJ Devi is in the UK. Simon Lindsay are also in the UK. Yep, they're great resources, very vocal on LinkedIn. You should be able to get some great resources and good connections to them too. Job boards, awesome. Thank you, Brian. Let's see, any other questions? Ricardo, what if you have experience assisting and helping InfoSec and SOC teams? Oh, this is great. So here's the thing, security is everyone's responsibility. So you can actually put what you've done security-wise in your resume now. You don't have to have a full-time security role to put security stuff on your resume. And that's what we like to see. Like your responsibilities include this security thing and this security thing and making sure you follow this security process and talking to the security team, right? Or you can do something like this, and this is what I recommend. You talk to somebody and ask them to be their champion. So somebody on the security team, you say, how can I help you, security person, like do your initiatives and make sure that security is done well here on my team. And so what you do is, I would say I would like to be a security champion for the security team. And then you take down and you bring back all the security best practices, all the procedures that security team would like everyone to follow, and you bring it back to your own team. And you take a look at your own team and you are a champion now. You're an advocate for the security, for good security within your team. And so you keep doing this for a while, you talk to the security team, and then eventually they're going to say, wow, this person's a great champion for us. I wonder if there's something that we can do. They're showing a lot of interest in security. Is there room for this person, right? That's certainly how I got into security. I was a security champion for the application security team at a company called Vanguard. And that's how I broke in. And Alyssa says she was also a logistics specialist. Amazing. Sorry if I get your pronouns wrong there, Delissa. Paul says, even though some of us are old, have done 20 years in the service, can we sign up for cybersecurity gatebreakers? Yes, please. So we just finished our first round of missions, and we are military themes, which is because we're fighting a war on cybercrime. We have battalions, and so each battalion does a certain thing, but we are just rounding up this first round of missions. We're going to restart with kind of like the next level of people, so the most engaged people, I would say. But if you are fully engaged and you would like to help out, we certainly need more volunteers, so please do. We even have officer commissioning, so yes, we do work for a living, right? Brian says you will have imposter syndrome no matter what you transition to. I've been out 2.5 years and still have it. Yeah, I think this is a good thing for you, Brian, because we don't want to have an ego that's just if you don't have imposter syndrome, think about it this way, like you almost don't want to not have it, right? Like you always want to have that humility and the ability to know that you don't know everything. And those are the best kinds of cybersecurity professionals, are the ones who are constantly learning, and they know that there's things to learn. And then here's the magic of it, like you can never stop learning in cybersecurity. And so if you have that hunger to learn and that thirst for knowledge, like you're going to do great in cybersecurity, because there's always something to learn and there's always something to do. And that's so wonderful, Brian, that you say you have imposter syndrome even after 2.5 years. It's good. It's actually a good thing. You want to make sure you never stop having that, right? You can manage it. You can certainly grow from it, but you don't ever want to be at the point where you're like, I know everything now, because that'll never be true. And you never want to get to that point. You're welcome, Giovanni. Paul says, I have 20 years in IT and cyber and was riddled with imposter syndrome. This is where networking with hiring managers, C-suite, and team leads can give you assurance. I also have another trick that I do. Whenever I do feel like I have imposter syndrome, I just make a list of the things and the evidence that I've seen around me that tell me objectively that I'm actually good at what I do. So like, for example, if I think I'm bad at leading people, right, then I take a look at the evidence that suggests otherwise. And I say, well, how many people have been promoted under me, right? Or how many people have gotten raises under me? And if I can say, wow, like a lot of people, that's great. Like, does that make me a good people manager? I'm like, well, it certainly points to the fact that I'm better than I'm not. Like, it's like, I also look for evidence for the negative. So if I say, maybe I'm not a good people manager, okay, what evidence suggests that I might not be a good people manager? And so I try to look for evidence that way. And it's kind of a mindset shift where you step outside of your body kind of thing, and you look outside and you objectively look for truths. And it helps build your intuition for things too. So you look outside and you find evidence for things that you are thinking. And again, don't tell yourself stories that you really can't prove. if you have something, a theory about yourself, you say, oh, I don't know something, I'm a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. Then you look for evidence outside that proves that statement or proves that theory or proves that thought. Because if you can find evidence that proves whatever theory that you have about yourself, if it's a good theory, then good. But if you're finding evidence against something that is like a bad theory about yourself, right? So you want to just make sure that you actually have evidence, objective evidence about the stories you're telling yourself. Steve says, feel free to connect. And how am I doing on time, Peter?
You're totally fine. Would you mind admitting the waiting room when you get a chance?
Oh, sure.
Totally fine. Yeah, no, you've got about 20 more minutes for the schedule, but it's
okay.
Very intriguing. So feel free to take your time.
Renee Small and Chris, if you're on, like, feel free to help me answer questions. The three of us and James Azar, we're constantly answering these types of questions. We have a weekly podcast out on LinkedIn, on YouTube. It's called CISO Thursdays, right? And so like we invite different CISOs and we talk about breaking into cybersecurity from the perspective of a hiring manager. So it's really interesting. So please listen if you have a chance, but we answer questions like this quite often. We help people trying to break in. We do resume reviews. Yes, and Royal has skill bridges. I'm guessing the Royal Army in the UK. I'm not too sure what that is. See, I know nothing, right? And I'm okay with knowing nothing. That's okay. I can Google it after. Owen says, what should we put on our job title for LinkedIn? Aspiring job position, transitioning veteran, or just put the title you want to have? Okay. Well, you always want to be truthful on your LinkedIn because you never want to be caught in a lie, right? Like lying is kind of like the worst thing you want as a cybersecurity professional because ethics and integrity are like paramount. But so you don't want to put a title that you want to have. What you want to do is just be truthful and be like aspiring to be, right? Or like that always helps. You can use that little icon that they give you on LinkedIn. That's like job searching, right? But again, it's not really about the perfect resume or about the perfect profile. You want to just keep doing things day in and day out that just shows your worth to other people. So what you want to do is build a network of people that you give value to, because the more value you give to somebody, the more valuable you'll be for that person. And they're going to start recommending you for jobs or networking you with, or helping you network with others and hooking you up with other people. Like that's what you want. That's how you build a network, people who go to bat for you. And in order for them to do that, you have to start giving value and providing value. So how do you do that? You ask them, you ask them questions like, how can I help you? Is there something that you're interested in? Is there somebody I can connect you with? Like I'm a transitioning member of the military. Is there anybody in your life that might be going through the same thing? Is there somebody I can help you with, right? That's the kind of help that people love seeing. Sometimes when I get a lot of DMs in my LinkedIn, right, I get some people who just ask for my help, right? And sometimes it's painful for me to have to say no because I really don't know anything about them. I have limited time and, certainly I wish I had more time to help them, but that's not something that I'm just willing to give. I can't just give my time and energy 100% of the time. What I do love seeing is a back and forth. Let me have a conversation with you. Hey, I enjoyed your post. Hey, I listened to you and I just have some feedback for you to help you get better, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that helps me. And so do I kind of use that and say, yeah, I would love to help you too. Like what can we do to help, instead of just giving me homework, right? And be like, can you review my resume and give me a job, right? Like that doesn't really help me understand who you are, what you're trying to do. It's just more putting me in an awkward position to just be like, yeah, I really don't, I can't. Like it's just one of those things. So I feel like a lot of people are human that way, and you're gonna try to bring value to people first. Let's see, Gordon, can I send you my resume? Your company sounds awesome. Yeah, sure, Gordon, just go ahead and apply to our beam.dental careers webpage. There's 2 positions open on the IT and security teams. There's plenty of other positions open, by the way. We have like over 20 recs out on our career site. Brandon says, can you look at mine for reference? I have had a professional organization review it for they found success in. Not too sure what that means, but yeah, I mean, if you put it in the Discord, right, and you ask like, does anyone have time to look at my my profile? Can anyone give me tips? I'm happy to look at yours also, right? That's the kind of value that we're looking for. If you do this for me, I'll do this for you. I know it's such a human thing, but you will find massively more success than just having somebody do something for you. And that's how you build a network. Yuri's PC, I have a question. I am in the US Air Force Reserve and I just completed a cybersecurity vocational training as well, having associate degrees, even though I am still working, getting on my certifications. I'm wondering if I have chances. You always have a chance, Yuri. Everyone has a chance. You just want to believe in yourself, build out your network, and really just go for it. Don't give up, because we need you. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. And you have plenty of opportunities. United States Air Force. And this is interesting because I've heard this recently. Agree with me here if you will, but I've heard the Air Force is like a support military branch. It's like not the main one. Like I don't know anything about military, but cybersecurity is kind of like the same way, where cybersecurity is a support industry, right? IT is a support industry where we're not the main business. We're not the focus of the business. We are a support industry. And the faster you learn this about cybersecurity, the better you'll be and the faster you'll get into cybersecurity. And you'll realize that if you treat your business as you are supporting the business, you're serving the business, you are helping them get to their goals and achieve their goals, you are going to be seen as a partner for the business. And you're not going to be seen as an adversary. It's not you versus them, it's us together. And so the more that you show that you can bring value to somebody else and to have, hey, we're a partner in this and my goals are your goals, right? People start trusting you. They loop you in on meetings. They get you involved in projects and they ask you for your security help and your advice. And that's what you want to see. That's how you build security culture in a company. That's how you increase your ability to do security at any company, at any place that you're in. If you build trust, and you know this as military members, if you build trust with one another on your teams, on your squadrons, anything like that, if you have trust in your fellow military service members, like you can do anything. You would die for that person next to you, right? Even though you don't like the smell of them, right? Like you would still die for that person. And I love that about the military. They train you so well to trust and to build teams. We desperately need that in cybersecurity. For the people who are currently in cybersecurity, I'm sure that you can agree to this. We do not share information well. We do not give each other chances when we can, right? We are very egotistical. We're very individualistic. We are very siloed from other business units. We do not play well with others. So if you as a military member have experience building teams and leading teams and knowing how to trust one another and what it takes to be a really good team member, that's what we need in cybersecurity. So bring that about you. That's the kind of stuff that we don't have. And you have an advantage above all others who have not had that experience. Shayna, is the CCNA DevOps certification comparable to Net Plus or Security Plus? So the Cisco family of certifications, it's interesting. I believe that's what CCNA stands for, if I remember correctly. I only had 3 hours of sleep last night. So I want to be careful here because vendor specific certifications, it really depends on the vendor. And it depends on what market share they have. So like AWS is a vendor certification, right? But AWS is such a huge market share. It's got like 80% of all the cloud. You're going to do well if you get an AWS certification. Smaller things like a Sophos or like a OneTrust, like those are like the smaller things that not a lot of people are going to use. It's not going to bring you a lot of benefit. So really be picky about the ones. Like I don't know anything about the CCNA DevOps certification. I do know about the normal Cisco one, where the networking one, but I don't know about the DevOps one. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know what's on it, right? So to me as a hiring manager, I put less value on that than knowing how to do something. And yes, do I use certifications as a proxy for your understanding? Yeah, probably. But I'm also going to be very critical about the things that you know how to do also, not just a test that you can pass. Oh, Paul says Royal Caribbean Group. Okay. So cruise ship. Got it. Yeah, I was way off. See, I know nothing. CCNA is associate level. Okay. Appreciate your talk. Thank you. And Yuri, I'm looking to your communication for cross training. Yep. Delissa. Okay. So I'm going to skip down towards the bottom because I know we're running out a lot of time here. I'm just going to go a little bit backwards just so I can get everyone's. And I'm sorry, I'll be missing the middle. Brandon says it'll depend on your job description. Leverage your that to be more competitive than your Sec Plus counterpart, Security Plus. CompTIA used for the DoD 8570. By the way, we're trying to break that down. Like, we don't like the 8570 here in cybersecurity. We do not. But yeah, I definitely recommend this CompTIA versus other ones. Oh, a lot about the CCNA. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you everyone for your time today. Appreciate you all. You all look very wonderful, especially the ones wearing all the ties and the suits. That's impressive. So keep at it, be brave. I know times are uncertain right now, but I have lots of people who have done this. Well, not lots, but I know people who have successfully transitioned out of the military and have wonderful, wonderful lives. I thank you so much for, again, your service. You're going to hear this from me all the time, but I'm forever grateful of the life I have. It's because
20 years
of
ago. On that incident response, 20 years ago, I asked a couple of questions. I asked, what happened? Why did it happen? What actions are we going to take? And of those actions that we're going to take, are they going to be worthwhile and meaningful? How do we know that the actions we're going to take aren't going to circle back around and bite us in the ass? I don't want to get bitten. Well, guess what happened? We burned down the entire network, the whole thing, subnet by subnet by subnet. And we stood it back up again, subnet by subnet by subnet. And the problem was that we did it subnet by subnet by subnet. So the worm that we were trying to eradicate came right back around and it bit us in the ass. Damn. So we're gonna keep that in mind. We're gonna talk more about that later, about understanding what you need to do and how you need to do it and figuring a good fit and making sure that your plan is correct. So a little bit of the background. For me, yeah, that was about 20 years ago. That was my first job in tech. Second job in tech, we didn't call it at the time, but it was a sales engineer. That was a couple year role. And then I wanted to know what was happening inside of these things that I was working on called computers and networks and routers and switches. So that took me down to electrical engineering. And I did that at West Point, which for everybody here, I know you've all got your ideas of whether I'm good or bad, but please, I'm not wearing my ring. I want you to judge me by any perceived lack of morals versus where I went to school. You don't have to agree or disagree. We're just going to go off that base. So I graduated and I like hard problems. So I picked the infantry, did the whole Ranger School thing, Afghanistan, came back and found out I'd broken my back. Ooh. I had an agreement with a platoon sergeant. Sergeant First Class Josh Pickering. Love that guy. Still talk to him every now and then. I said, hey, Sergeant Pickering, I've got something wrong. I don't know what it is. I'm going to physical therapy. I'm going to chiropractor. About 2 years of that I need you to know that I'm in pain. And as long as I can hide that pain, I think we'll be okay. If at any point I can no longer hide that pain, you let me know. I'm gonna go punch some jerks in the face and figure out what's actually wrong here. I'd gotten tons of x-rays and blah. Finally, I came back from PT one day. Sergeant Pickering was sitting there along with all my squad leaders. And they said, sir, it's time. That was when I found out I'd broken my back. 4 days later, I was up on staff going, what the heck am I gonna do with my life now? Because clearly, all those jokes about having a weak spine, I actually have a weak spine. Oh, and it hit me in the feels. It hit me in the feels. So what am I going to do? I don't know, man. What the heck am I going to do? Am I going to be able to stay in? I want to keep serving. Do I have to get out? I don't know. I don't know what the Army is going to say versus I don't know what I can actually do. That was when Army Cyber was standing up. So I put in my packet. I put in my packet high on opiates because I had just come out of surgery. And oh, by the way, when I woke up from surgery, I thought my doctor was giving me a hard time. He said, can you feel this? And I said, come on, doc. You didn't actually do anything. And he said, no, really, can you feel this? No, okay. feeling will probably come back. I was paralyzed for 2 days. Then I got to stand up. Then I got to learn to walk again. Then I failed the walk to run program a couple times. Failed. Again, right here. Because that was a big part. Going out in the woods and running for as hard as I can, for as long as I can, was how I dealt with my PTSD. I didn't even know it at the time. And then that started to build up a little bit over time, a little bit over time, a little bit over time. Okay, I'll just put that on the back burner. Again, I know something's wrong, but as long as I can fake it, I'll win. So I got picked up for cyber, went down to Augusta, spent 3 years in Augusta doing the cyber stuff. Back to my roots, baby. Let's go. Okay, good, good. We're doing the cyber, standing up one of the first task forces on defensive cyber, going out to a continent, working an incident response mission on another continent, and then getting a phone call, hey, you got to go to another continent. So get your butt back here because you've got 3 days before you got to deploy somewhere else. And oh, by the way, the talk that we're going to need you to give about big data pipelines, how to structure it and how to use data, understand and actually make actions in order to protect your country, to go get this to a partner nation, you're going to have to do that in Spanish. Oh boy. Game on. All right, let's do this. So we did. Went down, gave a talk in Spanish. Thankfully, I was semi-fluent in Spanish, was doing all right. And yeah, I mean, the translation is not terribly difficult. Cyber, see bad. Game on, even I can get this one. Okay. Coming back from those missions, sitting in the parking lot, getting ready to go to work. And I was starting to get scared to go to work again. Why was I scared to go into work? It wasn't the work. I know I can eat that up. That's easy. It was the walk into work. Because remember, I'd failed my walk to run program. And walking into work, that simple act was physically so much more painful than I could tolerate at the time. Turns out boots are heavy. Who knew? I never knew that. So here I am trying to get in. And Army put out a new policy. Anybody that has, listen here, son, anyone that has, the problem that you have is going to have a med board every year. We don't know if we're going to need to retain you. Every year? That's not cool. Fine. You want to play that game? Then we need to start looking at something else. A few months later, the Army retired me. What am I going to do now? Well, I figured they probably were. I knew that was a chance. So I'd been working on an MBA at the time. And I was doing this soul searching of what the heck am I going to do? I'd already had to rewrite my own identity once. From infantry to not infantry. And for my brothers and sisters out there that either wear blue cord or red shirt on Fridays, that's a tough thing to do. Okay, well, that's one identity piece. Not so bad. So I'm in cyber. And at that point, this is a few years ago now, no one really knew what to do with us. Oh, you were in the military. Okay, I get it. You don't know what we did because your systems aren't like our systems. Do you even know what enterprise is? Enterprise. Oh, that's easy. Networks, host, identity, massive organizations, transitive trust, Active Directory, Linux, Windows, TCP, UDP. Yeah, of course I know what enterprise is. And I've run bigger enterprises than you have, cowboy. Great. So you still don't know what enterprise is, do you? Okay, so how am I going to do this? If I can't do this on my own, I'm going to need a recruiter, huh? So I started reaching out to recruiters. This is before the whole retirement thing set up because I was preparing. Hi, big recruiting company. Nice to meet you. Yes, this is my background. You don't know what to do with cyber people. You're going to put me through the same process that everybody else is, even though I've got at least 4 years more of technical education than everybody else. Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. Second company. No, I'm not going to do that. Third company. No, I'm not going to do that. Fourth company. No, I'm not going to do that. Why doesn't someone just fix this problem and start a company that's focused on veterans getting into cybersecurity? Wouldn't that be? Oh, hello, my beautiful girl. You and I are going to go for a long dance, aren't we? That person's going to be me. Now let's talk about why I'm not good at being a recruiter, at least in my mind when I was starting. I had never been in HR. I'd never been an S1, an N1, an A1. You pick it. I had not been that. I'd never been a recruiter. I didn't know what the difference between recruiting and staffing was. I didn't know the difference between delivery and sales. I didn't have any mentors in the space. I didn't have any experience in the space. I didn't even know how to write my own damn resume. Okay, those are all legitimate reasons of why I should not go down this route. But clearly there is a niche here. And clearly this is something that if someone's going to win it, damn it, I'm going to be the one that wins it. So I was going through my MBA at the time, and this is where I cheated. You'll like this, please steal it. Hey, we're gonna need you to go find a project, pick up an idea for a company. We want you to do a full analysis on that company, to get a go-to-business strategy or go-to-market strategy. You know, figure out the vision, mission, values, figure out your primary market size, how much of that market you need to capture. Hey guys, guess what? With this project, do you think you could do it around a cyber recruiting company? Sounds great. Boom. You do that a couple times. All in all, it was about $100,000 that I got from my classmates in free consulting. Jackpot. So then I went through, retired December 28th, 2018. So my last day in service, 29th is the retirement date. January 4th, 2019, started the company. I thought it was going to be a part-time thing. I thought it was going to be this thing that I just do while I'm working somewhere else because it's fun and because it's a great way to help other people, especially veterans that I care about, that I fought with and I bled with. I thought that's what it was going to be. And then 4 months later, the company that I was working with, it's a venture capital firm. I was doing due diligence for them and cyber and a bunch of other fun stuff. We're actually legit fun stuff. It was really great. They had a new agreement that came out that I just wasn't cool with. And I was like, all right, so game on. Game on. And I took my idea full time. Now at that point, I'd failed again. I had failed so much. I had gone through marketing. I had gone through cold calls. I'd gone through cold emails. I got through this. I had spent so much time and invested so much time in some of you actually that are on this call, making sure that you are going to be ready for transition. And I bet big on some of you. And I made sure that some of you were prepared to make this transition. But I couldn't get any buyers. I couldn't get any buyers. What am I doing wrong? And then I realized that I was trying the wrong way because I got an introduction to somebody else and they turned into a client. And then I got another introduction to somebody else and they became a client. And then out of my network that I had built, my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my first 5 clients were all out of my network. None of them were attributable to marketing or advertising. Not a single one. My 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, my first 10 clients all came out of my network that I had built. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. My first 17 clients all came out of my network that I had built by investing in other people and making sure that they were going to seed on the off chance that I might be able to see some revenue for it by investing in other people. And they made the introductions to make sure that I could win. Networking. I know Naomi talked about it this morning. It is the key to success. So I got that first client. Didn't work out. I got the second client. They tested me with some hard unicorn shit. Really? That's what you're looking for? Those don't exist. Third client. The guy that I introduced you this morning already has a job offer. He already signed it. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I won. I did it. I made it work. Yes. They're not going to start. Okay. How much money do I have in the bank? Can I make this happen? Okay. I've got to move some stuff around. I can still make my mortgage. I can get the bills. Okay. I'm going to have to do that. And then I'm going to have to get another credit card in order to get me to the time frame. How am I going to make this work? I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. That was when I went into the valley of death. That was when I went into what's known in the startup world as the valley of death. You've burned through most of your capital. Now you're in the negative. How long can you live in the negative until you come back up? How long? How long? Again, I'm hurting because I don't know how long this can be. Can I actually do this? I won, but can I actually win? The person doesn't start for 35 days. The payment timeline that was key to making this client win wasn't for longer than that. Can I survive until that lump sum payment? Can I survive until that lump sum payment? DEF CON's coming up. I have to travel to Vegas. I have to get a hotel in Vegas. This is so important to making sure that this company wins. How am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make this happen? Okay, I can make it happen. And then I'm sitting at dinner, about to go to dinner with my wife in Vegas, in the valley of death. Hey, I want to go out to dinner tonight. Okay, we can do that, but we can only go to like these 3 places because that's all we can afford. Oh, that didn't go well. Now we're in a fight. Because I am in the valley of death. I can't pay for this. I've just about maxed out everything. I bet big. I'm going to win big. If I can win, I'm going to win. Literally during that argument, ding. Oh, shit. Where do you want to go to dinner? Boom! First one. And then a second one. And then a third one. And a fourth one. And then a fifth one. Out of the valley of death. I had because the networking thing is so important. I'd been at a networking event in Tacoma a while back. And I am an introvert, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I am actually an introvert. So here I am. I had a rough day. I had some wins, but I couldn't really consume the wins. I couldn't really celebrate those wins. And I'm at this networking event. And I'm really struggling to go be an extrovert and talk to some other people. Like I'm at the networking event, but am I going to meet my goals at the networking event of actually networking? I need to take a break. So I stood in the back and I got on my phone. I was just responding to a couple of emails. It was over by the salad. And a guy walks up, he's got his plate, he's walking through the line, and I was just so engrossed in my own self. And he goes, "Hey man, could you move? I'm trying to get to the falafel." Because I was standing in front of the falafel. Like, oh yeah, sorry. Okay. I get out of his way. And he looked at me and goes, so what do you do? And I said, well, I'm launching a veteran-focused cyber recruiting company. And he was wearing a sweater at the time, and he kind of pulled back the sweater and showed his t-shirt underneath. And his t-shirt had a name that I know you all know. It had a name that you all recognize. And he said, let's talk. Turns out that he was a former Navy submarine officer. And we went and had a coffee. We had a couple of coffees every now and then. And eventually I got a text from him. Immediate rapport, right? Immediate rapport. The kind of guy that when he says, hey, you need to go get a coffee with somebody, you don't ask questions, you just go. And that's exactly the text I got. It said, you need to go have a coffee with somebody. So I look at the company, I look them up, and I thought for sure these guys were going to be a client. So I'm studying their client list that they've got on the website. I'm studying the vendors that they have, trying to figure out how I'm going to make this work. Okay, got it. Yep, I'm doing the stuff you do before you go in. I've got all my research. I've got my ducks in a row like you can't believe. I've got notes. I've rehearsed this. I'm sitting in Seattle traffic. Okay, yep. Client A, client B, that fits with this one. Got it. I think I got it. And then boom, figured it out. I know exactly how I'm going to pitch these guys. So I walk in the office. The CEO meets me. We says, hey, let's go get a coffee next door. We walk around the store. We get a coffee. Lavender chai latte, because why the hell not? Sitting there drinking my lavender chai latte. 3 minutes in the conversation, he goes, I didn't call you here because I want you to be a recruiter. I called you here because I want to buy your company. I was profitable in that valley of death 5 months ago. Why do you want to buy my company? That guy that introduced us, he believes in you. He says that you are going to light the world on fire in the best way possible. And I want to buy your company. I want to be part of it. No, you don't. You're just trying to get a better deal. You're just, no way. Seriously. I want to talk about this. I like what you're doing. I like what you bring to the table. And from what I've heard, maybe it's confirmation bias, I like your instincts. Okay. I got to think about this. Because what is my mission? What is my mission and why I built this company? And it was to get amazing veterans and amazing jobs that value them in a way that makes their life better and increases their own happiness. Because I've been in a lot of pain. And I didn't like it. And I want to make sure that just because I have been and am in pain, I increase the ability for other people to be happy and decrease their pain, because I know how that feels. Will selling my company increase or decrease my mission? At that point, I'd passed my walk to run program. So here I am out for a long, slow run program day. And for anybody that knows DuPont, Washington, just outside Fort Lewis, there's a big ass hill out in the backside. And I'm slowly going up this hill. Am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? Will this let me help more great vets get great jobs? Or won't it? Will this help me get more great vets great jobs? I think it will. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. If we're doing this, I'm all in, and we're going to go, and we're going to go hard, and we're going to go fast, and you will not stop me. I will make mistakes as we go. but we are going to do this. We're going to enter the market and we're going to do it as best as we can. So let's do this. Game on. I know I don't know enough, but I'm going to learn it. Because the last thing that I did that I was successful at, I had no mentors in, I had no experience in, I didn't know what books to read. I had all of the reasons that said that I should not be able to do this, and I did it anyway. So we're going to do it again. I don't care if do is one of the hardest words in the English language. We're going to do it. So if you're going to buy my company, you are going to have to buckle up because I'm going to pull you like you wouldn't believe. Here we are. A couple years later. We've made some business changes. We've moved things around. We figured out where the market actually fits and what the market actually wants. And we've been able to get more great vets and great jobs because we believe in them, because we invest in them. We work with other people that understand us, and we network our asses off to make sure that we can all win. Because the mission continues. And when we talk about mission now, what is the mission of the company? The vast majority of companies out there, the mission of the company is to increase the financial wealth of their stakeholders. I can't get behind that mission. Why would I do that? Why would I work my butt off to make someone else rich? Okay. So I won't work for companies that their role is just to make someone else rich. What I will do is I will work for companies that, even though their mission statement might not say it, they provide a service that is incredibly valuable to a constituency, to a people or a population or a subset or stakeholders that need it, that we can actually solve real problems, that we can make the world a better place, that we can increase the happiness of our clients. And that's hard to do. It's hard to find those companies, but they are out there. And when you work with them, it can be awesome. Now, there are many companies out there. There are many companies out there that when you look at what they do, cyber is a cost. Security is a cost to that company. The only way you can win at a company like that is to reduce a cost. And is that really winning? Is it? If you reduce a cost, is that winning? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. But when things get tough at that company, who's the first to go? Is it the people that are a cost to the company? Or is it the people that go out and capture revenue and bring them in and bring in revenue? It's usually the people that are a cost. So that's one of those main reasons of why whenever I talk to people that want to get into security, I talk about, yes, you can go be a security analyst at a company that needs a security analyst. But if you want to go be a security analyst, go be a security analyst at a company where a security analyst is the person that brings in revenue, because you are now, instead of a cost, you are aligned with revenue. Now we're talking. Go figure out what you are best at and what you love. There's so many amazing books out there about Kaizen, the concept of when who you are aligns with what you do, magic happens. When you can fight a good fight, doing something, who cares if it's an uphill battle? Who cares if you have a mentor? Who cares if you have experience? Who cares if you have the right education? Just go start your own company and fix something that pisses you off. Just go do it. Speak it into existence. Network your butt off. Build what you want to see. Can you do that right now? Sure. Should you do that right now? That's a whole nother talk. Because you have a lot of other factors that you got to weigh. But I can tell you right now, I had no reason to do what I did other than it pissed me off and I wanted to give my friends the hookup. So as we went through that process, once legitimate acquisition offers started hitting my table, I said, no, 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 no. What? What do you do? Where do you sit in the market? Does that advance my mission? Huh. Okay, cool. Things aren't going to end up how you ever thought they were. Things are not. This was not the plan to sell the company. It wasn't. The plan was to grow it and then build a second company. That's mutually supporting. And I started to understand where my limitations as a business leader are. I know my limitations as a leader because I've met them many, many, many times. I know where I'm going to win and I know where I'm going to fail. And darn it, I'm going to stack the deck so I do win. Why not? But, and the business side of the house, the military, we're talking about delivery, 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 project, 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 deliver, 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 build the plan, execute the plan, build the plan, execute the plan. Well, what were we still doing that nobody ever told us about? You got a decision brief. You go up to the boss. Hey, sir. Hey, ma'am. We've got 3 options right here, the way I see it. We've got course of action 1, 2, and 3. 1's the best option. 2's an okay option. 3's kind of somewhere in between. It's a combination. What do you recommend? Sir, that decision is on you. Ma'am, I recommend that we go with course of action A. Turns out that piece, for those of you that had a good mentor in the space, because we didn't all, Army, some experiences may vary. That piece is called sales. And if you've been in intelligence at all, if you've been in any sort of intelligence unit, or had to work with an intelligence unit, or just been mildly intelligent, that piece is something that in most companies is between 25 and 50% of the company. So if you do not look at that side of the company, you have successfully chosen to self-select out of half of the jobs that could fit you. Because the Army told us that we need an executive officer. They never said anything about a chief revenue officer who owns advertising, marketing, sales, product development. Depends on the company. If you have any inkling of going out and being willing to talk to a client, oh, I'm so good. When I finally get in the room, I can deliver. Good. How are you going to get in the room? Well, a sales team is going to come in and they're going to sign something off, and then I'm going to deliver. Great. By the 3rd time you deliver, probably going to piss you off that you're delivering something that either you can't, doesn't make sense. By the 4th time, you're going to be like, sales team, bring me in because I can't deliver that. So I need to help you know what we can actually do here. Next thing you know, you're a sales engineer. Back to my second job 20 years ago. Well, a little bit less for that one. Many of you in here, because you're either an extrovert or a well-socialized introvert because of the stuff that we've done, because the mission, vision, values of the military that we espoused required us to at least go out and learn how to talk to people, you can and should consider the other half of the organization. Excellent. Now, how does that help you start your own company? Because if you can't sell, remember, originally not good at marketing, cold calling. all the things I wasn't good at. It was my network that got me in, that opened the door. Once I was in the door, I could deliver. Because it circles back. Now, when I'm out working with clients, and I get to see some amazing clients. I get to see some clients now when I do vCISO work or any of the other consulting work that I do or the brokerage work that I do. Clients that you definitely know and recognize all across all industries. And when we sit down, we talk about a lot of questions. Hey, great. With what you're doing, is it going to actually solve your problem? Or is it going to circle right around and bite you in the ass? Those same questions I asked 20 years ago. The same questions that I know all y'all can ask. Those same questions are what differentiate us as veterans because we've lived it from many people that have not. Because we've focused on delivery and we know what delivery looks like, which means when we're out in front of clients, either pre or post sales, we know what we can do. And if we can't do it, if we can't do it or we don't know how, we can go find the damn answers and make it happen because no excuse, ma'am, is something that we have lived for a long time. Because I don't know is not acceptable. Because you don't come to me with problems, you come to me with solutions. We also understand that things need to be timely. Because you got to get shit done, you got to get it fast. Because there's a helicopter coming out right now. There's somebody on it that needs help, and you better get your butt to the flight line and get them off, and get them what they need now. Oh, I don't have to get you that for 20 hours? Cool, I can do it in 10. You say 10, but you're like, I feel kind of guilty because I could have done it in 2. Because we can deliver, because we know how to make things happen, can get things done. I know, by the way, the C in cyber, as we're looking at that, the C in cyber stands for change. And if you don't understand the process of which to execute change, the first step to change is getting everyone to acknowledge that a change must be made. And to do that, you must be able to sell. So regardless of whether you end up in pre-sales or post-sales or delivery, or you just want to put your blinders on and put your head down and you want to nug and get work done, you will find things that you need to be able to sell because the C in cyber stands for change. Now, there's so many ways to get into cybersecurity, and there's so many ways to level up your skills, but change is where we live, where we breathe, and where we die. And if we don't live and breathe it, we die. So be prepared to understand how to make change. Whether you are providing the service because you're at a cybersecurity company or a cyber recruiting company or whatever, you are bringing change to an organization. Damn, it's hard, but it's fun. And when you see it works so well, and you can, it's awesome. So I know some of you are in pain out there, physical, emotional, spiritual. It happens. And I want you to know that there's a lot of help, all sorts of help, and everyone in this room can help each other. So if you are in some sort of pain, please reach out to anyone on this call, because I guarantee you, we will help you reduce your pain and increase your happiness. Because that's what it comes down to. Who cares about revenue? It's good, but in the end, let's be happy. And when you can do that and you get your Kaizen, damn it, we're going to win. Questions? Let's go. I do have a hard stop. I got I'm hosting a podcast in like 8 minutes. So come on in. Come on, y'all. I know you got questions. You can just come off mute if you want. Go for it.
Stephen, I've got one for you. First, I want to say that was amazing. You were a just a incredible speaker. So thanks for coming on. I want to ask for you, at least when you were getting out, a lot of people talk about imposter syndrome. Did you experience it? How'd you deal with it? Dilly, by the way, sir.
You could judge me for what I'm drinking. I don't care. Imposter syndrome. Syndrome. Yeah, it's a thing. Fuck it. Get over it. Done. I still feel it all the time. Walk into a new industry that I haven't been in before. What the hell am I doing here? Oh yeah, that's right. All I gotta do is figure out what they're doing, why they're doing it, how it fits in their mission, how it helps drive them revenue, how it helps reduce costs. And then if they're in an incident response or a ransomware or something like that, it's the same thing that we've all done, right? It doesn't matter if they build widget X or they provide service Y. We just have to know what they need to do to get that going. And then we lead them through change. So I did a post about this, I think it was yesterday. Two of my clients, and I heard this, both these two different clients, you definitely know one of them. I wish the stack of NDAs I had wasn't taller than me, so we could talk about some of these people and say, oh, God, they're great people. Two of them. The first one was, I'm always living, and I wrote them down because they like, I want to fight this. The first one was, I'm always living in a state of fear. Like, that's not a way to live, yo. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live in a state of fear, and I don't want you to live in a state of fear. So we can get through this. We can figure it out. We can do that. And I may not be on your team, but I'm a part of your team. I don't have to know exactly how you make the sausage. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to figure it out, and we are going to get through this together. Done. Second one, it was another client that their company had acquired. So company A acquired company B, and about a year had gone by, and company A hadn't done an assessment on company B yet. They literally had no sensors on their network. They didn't really understand what their endpoint strategy was. They didn't fully know like where the keys to the kingdom were, any of it. And he goes, I'm terrified that I have no visibility into those networks. And this is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. And he almost looked like he was in tears when he said it. And I was like, well, then let's just fix that. Let's just fix it. Let's just go get you visibility in the network. And so another client, they're going through an acquisition as well. And they're the ones that are getting acquired. And I'm so frustrated, man. Like, it's been a one-way street. We get these requests, and I give the request and I get no feedback. I don't know what like the buyout date is coming down. It's in 4 months, 3 months and 29 days. I don't know what I need to do to get prepared for this. Can you help? What would y'all do in that situation? I'll bet the majority of you just be like, yeah, who's the other team? We'll go talk to them. Let's make an introduction. So I had my sales team get in the sales tools and get the points of contact for the acquiring company. I said, hey man, here's their LinkedIn. Here's their email addresses, their publicly available email addresses. Would you like us to make the introduction, or do you want to do it? How can we help? It took us 5 minutes. And that little bit of like liaison work that we all know, like we've lived, it's easy peasy for us, right? Boom, here you go. And the look of gratitude from his face was what was motivating. Like, shoot, man, that's for us. Hey, I'm gonna need you to go up to Squadron and figure this thing out. Cool. Who am I talking to? Squadron. Okay, sure. I'll go figure it out. I'll go find out who to talk to. Yeah. So then you walk up in a Squadron and you're like, hey y'all, I'm definitely not supposed to be here. Y'all got a waterfall? That's weird. So then you look at it and you're like, I don't belong here. And it turns out you do. You do belong where you're at. So that's one of the things I recommend when you're getting ready for maybe not the first interview, but at least the second interview. As you're working through that, build out what you think your 90-day plan looks like. Who cares if we live in uncertainty? Let's just build a plan. Great. If I don't belong here, let's make it so I do. I do belong here. And I'm going to make sure that at the end of my first 90 days, and this is one of the things that I write, and take this from me, steal it, please. It's yours. It's yours now. I authorize you to make this as your own. The end of my first 90 days at an organization, my goal is to have transitioned from being pulled by the organization to pulling that wagon like they can't stop. Transition from being pulled to pulling. Okay. And if I truly am an imposter, I can't figure out a plan to do that, can I? Oh, I can figure out a plan. So damn it, I'm not an imposter. Game on. Let's go. I'll stop now for more questions, or I'll keep going.
Hey, Stephen, Alex Venter, Des Moines, Iowa. So I just recently retired, 26 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm on my terminal leave right now. I've got a bachelor's in cybersecurity. My last job, I was a communications chief for a civil support team, basically emergency management communications.
Yep.
Here's my problem. I managed a multi-platform, multi-million-dollar communication suite doing everything from radio comms around the world to across the parking lot, all the way over to server and client, Cisco networking, SATCOM, mobile device management. I mean, you name it, I did it. If you had a message you needed to get from here to there, from anywhere to anywhere, I was your guy. I had a solution for it.
Yep.
Was the best that I could possibly be, better than most, second hardest working guy in the Iowa National Guard.
Well, there's 3 people in the Iowa National Guard, so.
Oh, stop it. But like I said earlier, let the shit talking commence. Anyway, my problem is I have no idea where I fit at in the civilian world. And so I'm out here looking for jobs, but I don't even know what to look for.
3 options. Number 1, director of IT. Number 2, director of security at a semi-technical level. And then number 3, you would do very well in the channel partner space. And by channel partner, I mean one of 2 things predominantly. The first one is going to be, write this down. The first one is either going to be as a agent broker, phenomenal model. That's where I happen to sit. And the second one is as a VAR, a value added reseller. Because you've touched so many different systems in so many different places, and you've really focused on solutions and the management side of the house, you'll do very well in one of those positions. In most, excuse me. Well, hey there, calm down, you barley malt brewed jerk. And one of those, you'll probably be very good as a sales engineer, a sales architect, even though they both have the word sales in them. You do not own the relationship. You're effectively engineering, and it's your job is to own the demo and come up with solutions. So a number of companies out there have what are called advanced solutions teams, ASTs, advanced solutions teams. Those ASTs, their job is when a client comes to you and says, we don't know what we don't know, or we've got this really weird problem. Your job is to put together a solution, usually of multiple types of vendors, and then you either resell those or you broker them into the company, and then you get paid a commission. Now, you don't have to own the relationship, so you don't have to go out and find the new people on one of those teams. You don't have to go find a new client to bring in. That's the sales job. Your job is to figure out the solution and talk through the solution with the client. You don't have to sell them on the solution, but when you're sitting down with their engineers and architects, your role and responsibility is, I said I had 8 minutes a while ago, but that's actually I have 8 minutes now because I know how to tell time. One of those, your responsibility effectively there is to do the demo. Hey, here's software program X. Here's all the dashboards, all the questions that you had about them. You can see them in this dashboard, this dashboard, this dashboard, and they integrate over here. There's integrations over here. Yes, we can pull in from that enterprise detection and response piece. Yes, we can pull that in an API as long as it's JSON. Yes, of course, we can see SMTP traffic. Of course, we can do TCP and UDP. No, we can't do SSL decrypt yet. It's on the glide path. And then, oh, by the way, towards the end, we don't do tier 1 help desk on the support, but we've got a partner that does. We can bring them in at no cost. So your job is to actually do the solution. So we've talked about 3 different things. One is director of IT. Number 2 is director of security. Number 3 is in the channel space. Check out the channel space. There's a lot of different partners in there. One of the biggest ones that you'll see is CDW. They're based out of here in Chicago. They're about 30 minutes from me. I see their employees out all the time at like dinner and with their badges hanging out because they're nerds. The agent broker space has a number of different companies. So you've got Intellis, ScanSource, you've got Avant, you've got TPX and Advantage, and a bunch of them. Telarus, another really amazing one. On the VAR side, we already talked CDW. Gosh, there's so many different versions. But the more complex the solution that they're bringing to market by vendor itself, the better you will do in those organizations because it's all liaison work.
And what's the spin up on something like that? Because like I said, I know my world really, really well. And I can follow along with you with what you're saying, but I don't necessarily know those products as well as I feel like I would need to know them to be effective at that job. So what's the typical spin up or requirement for a spin up on a new employee from a company like that?
So I'll go back to my acquisition process. When I was looking at Stratacore, when they were trying to buy my company initially in our first talks, on that route that I was going up to Seattle, where I was practicing what I was going to talk to them about, one of the big pieces was understanding the vendor space that they were in. So I went through and they had, most of these types of companies will talk about their partners. So you go through and you look at them, you say, okay, you've got say CrowdStrike and Carbon Black and these, and we've got all these strategic partners. Great. Okay, go learn those. Go do a couple, like watch a couple demos. If you're at a conference, go stop by their booth, ask a lot of questions, just enough to know what you're talking about, right? And then you go to the interview and you go, yes, I've been to a couple of those conferences. I've seen some of their work. I know I have a pretty good idea what they're doing, what I recommend during my first 90 days. Because remember, you've built out your 90-day plan before you go into an interview. And you say, I would like to probably somewhere around the 20-day marks. We're looking 3 weeks in. I would like to sit down and start getting some of those partner training portals up so I can fully understand them. And most of the companies, especially in the IT space, less on the security side, have a ton of really great vendor training that go through them. So I've been through like Cloudflare's security engineer, their security sales program, and like something else. They gave me Cloudflare Sales Partner of the Year last year, so I figured I should actually like go to at least the engineer level of the products, right? Yeah. So then you build that into your plan, and you don't have to be an expert on day one. You're normally not expected to be an expert on day one. They're hiring you for the things that are going to drive revenue in the future, and they expect there to be a ramp up period. So as long as you're very clear about it, do your homework prior. Once you get the offer letter, you better keep doing your homework. And then the flash to bang on it can be pretty fast as long as you're doing what you need to do and you've got a plan built.
All right. Well, thank you. One last question.
Mhm.
At what point do you feel comfortable? Like I said, I've got my military experience. I lack the civilian experience. At what point do you feel comfortable saying, okay, I'm going to split away from whoever I'm working for and go start my own company, do my own startup, kind of like what you did?
After you vest.
Good answer. Good answer.
So that's for anybody that doesn't know what that is. That's after you retain your stock or your stock options or whatever package you have to be SARP. So your stock plan, restricted stock plan, whatever that is. Usually that's a good time to do it. If you leave earlier, you're leaving that money or that value on the table. So if you think the company is going to go through an acquisition, it might be fine if you're like a couple years out, all sorts of different things. Aaron Franks just talked about the first 90 days. So that would be this book. I recommend reading this book. The first 90 days. Phenomenal book. And you can see mine's tabbed way out. So that actually outlines your first 90 days. And I recommend putting a lot of this into effect before you get to company, before you go into interviews. We've got a couple more on this here. Next question.
When's your book
Yeah,
coming out?
what's your next hill? What's your next problem you're going to solve?
Stay tuned, like, subscribe, and hit that notification icon for more information.
We'll do so.
What I can say is you can be damn sure that I'm going to keep giving back to the community. So when I did something real crazy, real dumb, I put my Calendly link available online on social media. That was in June. And I said basically, hey, y'all can schedule mentor time with me one-on-one. That booked up in like a week for the whole year. So literally in June, I had people scheduling time with me in December. I'm gonna keep doing that next year, but I'm gonna open up in smaller batches because I think that's just a better way to do it than how I did it. So you're constantly learning from your mistakes, right? I had an amazing mentor conversation earlier today with a guy in a financial institution that's based out of Australia. You know, he had some really, really tough problems that he was solving, and we got to work through some of those on just a 30-minute call. So whatever I'm doing next, wherever I happen to be, you can be sure that I'm going to continue to giving at least 2.5 hours a week, so 30 minutes every day back to the community on one-on-one mentoring sessions. I got time for one more, y'all. Bring it. Let's go. Give me the heat.
Okay, well,
I got,
hello, thank you. My name is Leah. Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's amazing. So I too am, well, I'm starting my career in cybersecurity, 6-year Army veteran. I went to a cybersecurity boot camp and I'm studying for my Sec Plus. So what position titles do you think would best fit me for right now starting out?
I'm not going to tell you what is going to be good for you. And let me tell you why. With the information that I have, I can't tell you which route to go. Here's what I do for all of my mentees, anybody that I'm mentoring. And last year was like 160 something that were one-on-one and many more on LinkedIn, et cetera. This year I'll clear 200. What I recommend, first thing is do a good self-assessment, a good Myers-Briggs exam. You can go to 16personalities.com. They've got a free one. I don't know if they resell data. I don't know that. I don't know. 16personalities.com is the one I recommend. If anybody gives me a background and says not to use them, please let me know so I can stop. Really, 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 really get to know yourself. The second thing that I recommend that's deeper, so it takes longer, is Strengths Finder 2.0. Thank you, Paul, for putting that in there. Strengths
Thanks,
Finder
Paul.
2.0. Another great way to really get to know yourself, because when we look at it, and I've got other stuff on this, there are so many different routes in cybersecurity. If we can figure out one that aligns with who you are and what you do, when we align that, we can potentially save you a few years of happiness. So the route that you're on right now might not make you happy. And if I told you the logical next step, it might not be the emotional next step. So with me, I know they've got, they do a pretty good self-assessment as well.
Yep, I took theirs. Yep, it was good.
Excellent. Yep. And Josh Mason, love the guy. He's hosted some of my marathon AMAs, out literally running a half marathon, doing AMA stuff like this. He really recommends with me. I've not gone through it myself, but the other thing that I recommend, and I got to hop here, about to go live with the podcast. High impact interview questions. So it's 701 behavior-based interview questions by Victoria Hovenmeyer. We'll get it in the chat here in a little bit. Go through that. It's literally 700 questions that you could be asked in an interview. And the idea is not to sit there and get all of a written response back from all of them. The idea is that you go through and you figure out the 6 to 8 stories that make Leia Leia.
Okay.
And when you know that, when you're in an interview, when you're in somewhere, you get to know yourself, and the stories that you talk about have impact and they have meaning because they're your stories. And once you do that catalog, that self-exploration, then you can pull the thread of which route you should go. I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but it's the answer I'm going to give.
It was very helpful. Thank you.
All right, y'all, I'm a minute late. I got to go live. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Check me out on YouTube. I'm pretty active on both of those. So I'm always looking for feedback. If there's things that I can do better, please let me know. I want to make sure our industry is strong. And I want everybody in here to get a job in security, if at all possible, because if it makes you happy, then let's figure it out. Let's go for it. And if this is useful, the last thing I'll say is please share any of the insights that you have with at least 3 other people. Because if we do that, then we as an industry really win. Go mentor somebody else. Have a good one. Happy day.
Thank you. Bye.
Stephen, thank you so much for coming on. That was absolutely fantastic. All the event ends at 4 p.m. Eastern. The page will be open for 30 days after it ends to allow you to go back, see the resources, see the recruiters there and everything. And as always, the Boots to Books team is always here and would be delighted to help any of you. But besides that, I will see you all back in the chat.